It is currently 5:23 p.m. Sunday, November 29th, 2015. Welcome to Evening Tea. This is a continuation of the most recent podcast.
Which we did yesterday, 2 in a row. That will never happen again.
So our general time lapse of podcast scheduling
Yeah.
is
It's like
a month at a time.
a month or
maybe
more.
6 months.
More, yeah.
Um,
I mean, we've had 5 in 11 months, and we're planning on doing 1 a week.
we decided to do
And we've talked about
the
this
same
every single
story,
time.
pretty much just our summer in general,
And
to do it over 2 episodes.
we tried to do it in that one, but that was not successful. So we'll try to finish it in this one, which probably won't happen. So
Camping trip.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we said.
So this is the very beginning of the summer.
yes, very
Just
beginning
getting out
the
of
summer.
school.
Yeah.
Sharon McCarthy, family member of the family that we were.
Spending time with Abby and Hannah and Jillian's family, the McCarthys. She rented a 12-person cabin. This is maybe 1 day. 2 days after school ended, I think. It was right after school ended, so June 20th or so. Rented a 12-person cabin at a campground in northern Maine called Katahdin Shadows. And it was meant for the jazz combo that we're part of.
Affiliated with.
Yeah. So it was for the jazz combo who we had been doing a lot with. Abby and Hannah were in it, and Noah and I, Reggie.
So
Lots of people.
It ended up not being necessarily just a combo, but
and
mostly
there were a
just...
few other people, and not all of the combo went. And I was taking driver's ed, so I had to go. And the schedule, I could not change the schedule, so I
your
had
class schedule
to
was
go
the same
back
days.
back and forth every day,
Yeah.
driving 4 hours a day.
A little story. This is the first day you weren't in the car.
Yeah.
And I wanted to drive up because personally I don't like riding in the van
Yes.
so much. It's a noisy ride, but also I like to just leave like randomly and when I feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, Sharon got me into riding in the van. And I'm so glad I did
Instead of
because
driving his own car. Yeah.
I'm so glad I did because headed down the interstate. Reggie's driving. He had his permit at the time. And we had to make one quick stop at Sharon's camp.
Oh.
And what were you doing? I think we were just closing or opening
it up. Yeah.
closing the windows because
Yeah.
a family was either going to be there or something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't realize what we were getting into. I knew the location. We were making a slight detour to near Escatarsis Lake, which is also where my grandmother's lake is.
Same grandmother.
What did you say?
Same grandmother.
Same
as
grandmother
last time.
as Camp Capella.
Yeah.
So we're going on these twisty roads, and it's not that fine. I mean, it's not that bad, and it turns into not being fine. And so Reggie's driving. Keep in mind.
And this isn't his fault. It's the road.
Forecasting.
Most of it is the road.
Yeah.
There's only one part that was his fault, and that was mostly
That's the point
Sharon's
of telling
fault.
the story.
I'm sorry. You can. But
So we're driving along the road, and Sharon's like, "Okay, take a right here," and she's like, "Okay, it's gonna be a dirt road. It's gonna be pretty rocky, not too bad." So it's not. I mean, it's just a dirt road, and the van can handle it. But eventually, it turns into basically the Rubicon Trail. It's
giant boulders.
Huge boulders.
I went there a separate time.
Yeah.
But huge. It's not a road. It's just it looks like the remains of a mine or a quarry, and they just dump them down the side of this mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
So we get going down that road. The light's flickering because the door's broken. So every time we hit a bump, I'm flying 5 feet out of my seat, and the light's flickering. And I think Jillian was there, Hannah was there. I was sitting in the back, and Sharon was there, and obviously Reggie was driving.
Yeah.
And we get to this point, and huge hill, and we could barely get it up up it on the way back, and what was it? There was a huge dip in the road.
Yeah, there's a giant
Just
ditch, just ridiculous,
straight through the road.
ridiculous. Like, yeah, it's
And so the point is, you just want to go as slow as possible. So Sharon gives some good advice, and she says, take this as a reverse speed bump. And keep in mind, she's saying this just as we're about to go over it.
a reverse speed
A
bump.
reverse speed bump. And Reggie's like, okay, well,
And this
what do
all
you...
happened in his brain.
Yeah, what do you do at a speed bump? You slow down.
And what's the reverse?
What's
of
a
slowing
reverse of
down?
slowing down and speeding up?
Speeding up is the answer.
So
So that's what he did.
He sped up at the last second. He floored it. Yeah,
And they
you can assume
went
what
over this
happened.
ditch. And when I went over this ditch, when I went a separate time, we went over it like 2 miles an hour. So it was like,
Maybe.
and it was just, you could see the loose things in the car lifting into the air and dropping back down. It was ridiculous. But I can't imagine what it was like at that speed. It must have been painful. But what she meant was it was an inverted speed bump. So it's a speed bump that's like dug out of the ground. It was about the size of a speed bump,
Yeah.
just in the middle of the road, just dug out. And that's what she meant, but Reggie took it as something else.
Yeah. So anyway, we headed out, and that was that.
Yeah.
So we got to camp. I'm trying to remember.
And if you had taken your car, would have ruined the car. Up
Oh,
the
I wouldn't
camp
even
road.
be
You
able
wouldn't
to, I
it
wouldn't
would-
be
it would
able to
just
go.
bottom out the car, ruined.
Yeah.
Leave it there. Yeah.
That's why there's so many abandoned cars in Maine, just lying on the side of the road.
It's the oil dripping
Yeah.
everywhere, just hitting a bump. Yeah. So
But it's usually just a frame, though, because they probably exploded
yeah.
along the way.
So anyway, you had the first night. I wasn't up there the first night.
Yeah. I don't even remember what happened, honestly.
Okay. Anyway, so when I went up, I was going up. Abby was driving me.
We were all hoping that they could come.
We could come up in time to go to Baxter State Park with them. So this is what happened. So Abby picks me up. It was very early in the I don't know. It was 5 in the morning.
Really?
Or so yeah, that
Oh.
she picked me up. We drove up very early. So she.
I don't
picks
think it
me-
was that
yes,
early.
It was. It was 5
Really?
in the morning.
I don't.
Yes.
You didn't get here at 6. It only takes an hour to get down.
Sorry. No. Do you remember? I'm telling the Lost in the North Maine Woods story.
Oh, that's why it took you so
Yes.
long. This is the day I think we're gonna go hiking.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, so
we
Meanwhile,
all wanted to go.
I'm.
We were supposed to meet them at Baxter State Park. They went there whenever.
It was me, Reggie, Hannah. I think Jillian was there.
Mm-hmm.
Was she? Okay, Jill. Oh yes, that's right. Okay, and Toby Jones,
His tea
and
was spicy.
which he was friends with Abby at the time,
Yeah, they were dating.
and
But so
yeah. So we get in the van to head to Baxter State Park. It was
And
quite
we
a
were-
ride,
and
and
Abby
Hannah
and I-
was driving.
Abby and I were going to meet them all up there. So we
At
could
the trail.
hike together.
We were
at
going
the
to
trail.
start at the trail
So-
and maybe hike to Chimney Pond.
So we enter Baxter State Park into the GPS and drive off, going up the interstate, going north, and we get off at the same exit as the campground was, Katahdin Shadows. Or we may have just driven to Katahdin Shadows. We didn't actually go to the campground, and then we entered Baxter State Park, actually. I think that's what happened. And we're driving, and we see all the Baxter State Park signs, and we're driving, and then it tells us to turn onto this dirt road. And we're like, this is odd. I can't imagine that all these tourists drive this way. But that's what the GPS... This was me. This was all me. That's what the GPS says, so let's do that, because I don't want to get us
He's
lost
telling
up here.
Abby.
I'm telling Abby this, and she's like, okay. And we're driving still a dirt road. And we drive for an hour. We're still on a dirt road, and it's like, wow, we should have been there by now, probably. We've been driving a long time, and we saw some. We were driving, and it comes up to this open field and stuff. These are like logging roads by this point, like all these.
and this is Maine,
This
so
is
it's not like
Maine.
you can
It's-
just pull over and
yeah.
ask for directions.
yes. When you're it was very north. So we come to this big open field, and I tell Abby to slow down because I see 2 moose they're about, I don't know, 1,000 feet away or so.
Oh, really?
But
Okay,
can. I mean, they're really far away. Abby had never seen a moose before. I'd seen a few, but it's still. I mean,
I've never actually seen a moose in Maine.
in Maine, yeah, in Alaska, but whether or not you've seen them 0 times,
Yeah,
or,
it's still
it's
an
still
interesting
amazing,
thing, and you don't want to hit them either.
Oh no. So we slowed down and looked at them for a little while. They were just, and they looked at us and stared at us, and then just trotted off, and then we kept going, and we keep driving, and we get to this campground, and it says, I can't remember what the name of it was. I think Katahdin was in the name. But that's
Katahdin
like
Shadows.
No, that's the one we were staying at.
Oh, a different one.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is a
you're-
different one. I mean, they're all the campgrounds up there say Katahdin.
Yeah, Katahdin Stream.
So we
Katahdin.
drive, and we keep driving on the road. This woman at the camp tells us to slow down. She's like waving her hand, slow down. We were going like 15 miles an hour, but we couldn't go that fast. And we drive, and now we're in the woods. There are woods around us, trees, and a grass road. There's grass on the road, and we drive, and the road ends. It's just a wall of trees.
And then you saw this like
And
figure
there's
come out of the trees. It was like, you thought it was Bigfoot, didn't
No,
you?
no. So just the road ends, and a wall of trees and a footpath starts.
So they got
And
out
on
and started
sta-
walking by foot.
Nailed onto one of the trees was this like tin sign that says Baxter State Park on it. So we made it to Baxter State Park. That was not the entrance.
That must have been the northern entrance. or
We had
something.
been driving for 4 hours.
That's
or so.
insane. I would never do that.
Or-
I would never
but
do
I was
that.
so afraid to not listen to the GPS because I'm like, if we don't listen to it, we could die. So,
So you listened
so
to
I
it,
listened to
and
it.
you died.
No. So I look at the GPS, take it off. It was whatever suction cup to the windshield. Take
Hazard,
it off.
by the way. Hazard.
Yes. And zoom out on the GPS. We're about halfway up the west side of Baxter State Park. We were supposed to be at the entrance at
So,
the south side.
At what point did you think, I should have looked at the map?
Well, that's when.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh my god. And then Abby did a great turn. She turned around in this space that was the exact width of her car, pretty much. Took like 5 minutes to turn around because we had to keep forward, reverse, just changing the angle slightly. We eventually turned around on that road. I don't know why we didn't go in reverse now that I think about it. But and then we drive out of the camp and put in the camp the Katahdin Shadows that we were staying at, not Baxter State Park. It's too late now, and we lost cell phone service, so we can't text anyone.
Wait, did you ever hike
too
with
north.
us?
No.
Oh, okay, that's right.
No.
For some reason,
So
you're not in that memory.
So
man.
we lost cell phone service very early on. We hadn't had it for like 3.5 hours or so.
Well, it's
I mean,
questionable once
we-
you get beyond
yeah.
Orono. Anyway.
Yeah. So we're super 3.5 hours after we had gotten lost, I guess is what I mean, because it's about an hour up to the camp at least. So we're just gonna go to the camp. It's too late. We're not gonna have time to do anything. So we're just gonna go to Katahdin Shadows. We drive, put it in the GPS. It brings us back a different way that we came, and we're like, okay, we didn't like that way, the way that we came, so we'll still listen to the GPS. And we
bad.
did, and we came, but the only thing was, the road was much better, but then we came out in a place we had never seen before, so we
Yeah.
still had to
So
navigate.
you weren't unfamiliar. You were
yeah.
unfamiliar with.
So
Yeah.
we drove past another campground, and then the GPS, like, I don't remember. It said take this road, but there were it forked. The road forks, and it doesn't change name, so we didn't know which one to take.
Yeah.
So we just guessed and took one of them, and
So you came to a fork in the road.
Yeah.
And you just took it.
Yeah. and we just guessed which one to take. So we went down the left one, I think, and kept going, and eventually we got to a populated area, city that we had seen before. I can't remember
Belfast?
what it's called. No, a city we had seen before. So we're like, okay, we're close. And we keep driving for another half an hour or 40 minutes.
When
and
you
we're
say populated, what do you mean?
like,
like a
North
gas
Main,
station?
like 1,000 people. And we're driving for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and we're like, we must have passed the campground. It can't possibly be this far away. We thought it was going to be like a 10-minute drive to the campground. And it's been 40 minutes, and we're still driving. And we're like, okay, let's just go a few more minutes. And we go 10 more minutes, it's not there. Okay, it has to be coming up soon. So we go a few more minutes, and then we see the entrance to the campground.
Okay.
We're like, oh, finally.
I don't understand how this
Okay.
happens because
And then we...
this is how we got there. If you go on 95,
Yeah, you follow.
you make
you
it. Wait.
follow
You go
the
on
signs.
95.
That's what Reggie
you,
is.
no,
I know.
you just take a left, and you go on that road until the campground, and then the campground's right there, and then to get to Baxter State Park, you just continue
Well, yeah,
going on that road.
we know how to get to the campground from 95, but we weren't on 95
Why not?
because we were coming back from the campground from being lost.
No, I know, but originally in the first place.
Well, I know it's very easy to get there.
Oh,
we
you
didn't
were,
get lost.
You were trying
we were
to
going
head
the other
directly
way.
to Baxter State Park,
Y-
and that's where it
yes.
confused
Yeah,
because you didn't know which entrance
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
to because there's 100
yeah,
entrances.
and I guess the GPS chose the footpath instead of the most common entrance for cars.
Yeah. Maybe they're thinking the closest.
But that wasn't the closest.
Couldn't. Yeah, that's weird.
So
Or the
so-
least traffic. That's what they were trying to do.
So we get to the campground, drive up to the camp. By the way, the speed limit in this campground is 7.2 miles per hour. There are signs everywhere. And we were sure not to follow it. So we drove to our cabin, got there, get out of the car, go to the cabin door, and it's locked.
Was anybody there?
Nobody
No
was
white
there.
van?
Nobody was there. So it was just Abby and I locked out of the cabin. So we
So-
sat in the car, and I started reading, and we texted
Yeah.
you guys, and we had eventually been able to text Toby or Sharon, who were sitting in the parking
Didn't
lot.
you call us at one point?
We tried.
I think
You
I
or
called
Reggie?
you.
Or-
No, we actually called you.
Oh
Abby
yeah, you're right.
and talked to
I
the
don't-
phone.
That was after we had gotten back, I think, and you had to
Maybe.
text Sharon or something.
Oh, okay.
I
So what
can't
happened
remember.
is, yeah. So this is a little sketchy. We got there. My side of the story goes, Hannah drove us up in the van. Sharon was there. Toby was there. Jillian, Reggie, and we got to the basin of the whole mountain, I guess. Yeah, we started hiking the trail, Chimney Pond Trail.
Yeah.
And
That's where you hike to get to the base of the mountain.
right, and we thought it was gonna be like maybe a 2-mile hike. I'm not sure. Is it like 2 miles or something?
No, I can't remember if it's 2.3 or 3.2.
But anyway, we were like, okay, we're gonna take a rest at Chimney Pond, and then we'll head back. And we had packed
It's
lunch
really long.
and
It's a long hike. Yeah.
quite a bit of food to get us through the day. And we thought it'd be maybe an hour hike.
Mm.
And so we start hiking, and Jillian started complaining.
Mhm.
And she was complaining the whole time. And we're like, okay, we'll turn around soon. But we wanted to try to get to Chimney Pond. I mean, we didn't want to just turn around randomly. So, I don't know. It had to have been an hour and a half. We were just telling her, okay, just keep walking,
And this isn't because she's Jillian. It's just because she's a 12-year-old, and for any 12-year-old, it's not easy.
She wasn't
I mean, it's
ready
not-
for hiking
it's-
this much, I guess.
Yeah, at the time.
So we hiked a little farther. We never got to Chimney Pond, but we kept seeing pond. It was extremely foggy, so we didn't even see Mount Katahdin really that much. But it was actually a nice hike, and it was enduring.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously not as enduring as actually climbing the mountain,
Yeah.
but for not expecting to have a long hike, it was quite a hike, and for Jillian too. So we get back finally, Reggie, Hannah, Jillian, and I. And we walk around expecting to see, the whole time that we're heading back, we're expecting to see Sharon, Gabe, Abby, and Toby walking on the trail.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole
That
point
was
of the trip. And it was to hike. And we never saw them, so we thought that was a little strange. We figured they were just waiting for us at the beginning of the trail. So I get to the beginning of the trail with everybody, and there was nothing. There was not a soul at the. It wasn't a visitor center, but it was like the.
It was a parking
the
lot.
sign.
Right?
Yeah, it was a parking lot,
Yeah.
and there were a few cars, maybe 3 cars, and
But not.
And these are all
not the car that they came in, right?
Yeah, the van wasn't there. There were maybe 3 cars, and these people were probably hiking the mountain and camping, maybe. Not a soul. And so we're kind of walking around for a few minutes, curious what, like, she probably just left to bring gas. We didn't even know. So we look around. I think finally there wasn't much cell coverage. We could barely get a hold of Gabe when we tried to call them. And I think we called Sharon. And just as I was calling her, or at least trying to call her, we looked over at where the car was parked when we left. And there was a yellow piece of paper on the ground. And it said, I've be back.
I've never heard this before.
Yeah, it said, I'll be back at 1. It was 11:30. And... or something like that. It was early in the day. It might have been, I'll be back at 3, and it was like 1 o'clock. We had to wait 2 hours in the parking lot.
Yeah.
We basically just walked around in circles.
I didn't know.
This whole time. And
So-
we even like started like doing artwork with charcoal that we found.
Making tribal warrior robes just in case you were stranded. No,
And we had it was pretty fun. We started throwing rocks and
so the war.
and it was freezing. Oh no, it wasn't freezing. There was something really. Oh yeah, there was so many bugs.
Oh yes,
It was incredible.
It was the summer and
and it was a little
northern
chilly
Maine,
because it started
Yeah.
raining eventually.
Yeah, that's what gets the bugs out when it rains a little bit and it's warmish. So eventually everybody gets back to the camp. And so I was supposed to spend that day hiking and having
everybody.
fun before I had to go back that night to get to Driver's Ed the next morning. So we hike, we don't hike. Remember that. I don't. They did. And we get back and we eat chili. And, time to go back home.
So they
I
leave
spent the
around-
entire day driving.
What was that? Because
And
of your
waiting.
class.
Yeah, the
That was
next
at what?
morning.
In the
next
morning. Okay,
yeah.
so you left around like I'd like to say 8 or 9.
Yeah, 8 or 9. So I got to spend like 4 hours with them when I was supposed to spend the entire day.
And that was every day. Did you?
That wasn't every day. I did spend the night twice because that was the weekend and I didn't have class.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of driving. So yeah, I had to leave after just having spent a little bit of time there.
Yeah.
So that covers the 4 days
After
after school, or I guess 6 days but this was only over the course of 4 days, and we played a ton of card games and ping pong and whatnot.
Not ping pong.
Yeah, we did. Oh no, it was air hockey.
Air hockey.
Right.
And
And
driving games.
Pool. Yeah. Oh, that was so funny. Yeah.
And Jillian got maybe 400 bouncy balls.
Oh yeah. Yeah. From
And we
this little
swam a
point.
little bit?
There's a game room at this camp because people can't go camping for a week without spending time with electronics and video games. But yeah, it was very fun. It was very fun. I forgot to mention that when Abby and I we weren't coming back yet. We hadn't gotten to the wall of trees at this point. We were about halfway there. So
Halfway to being
well, no, we were lost. We were definitely lost.
Oh, okay.
But
Halfway to being at the end of the road.
Yeah. Halfway to the end of the road from where we were lost. Yes. But so we're turning up this logging road that goes up a hill and turns. We were following the GPS and it has a really sharp turn to the right. So we pull up and it's a really sharp turn. But I mean, it's a logging road. We hadn't seen any cars, so we just take a wide turn. It's not that bad, and we drive up. We're in the middle of the road, and we hear this loud honking noise. We look to our right, and there's a huge logging truck going like 60 miles an hour.
Wait, what do you mean you look to your right?
what do you mean? You drive. You don't look like this. You don't look to your right while you're driving.
Yeah.
Like we're just driving, looking out the windshield, and look to our right, and coming down the road that we were in the middle of, with nowhere to turn, was a huge logging truck.
Wait, what? So they were honking their horn?
Yes, because they were gonna hit us, and so Abby tried. I think this is what happened. It's
So
very
okay,
difficult
so it
to
was
remember.
a pretty. Oh, okay. So these, in Maine, like
The
loggers own the road.
They just go if you're in their way. I mean, people get hit a lot.
They can't stop.
They
either.
can't
It's
stop.
dirt
There's
road,
not,
right?
yeah, and they go really fast, and there's a lot of weight. So if you can't, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
But, Abby, I think she just gets it tight enough, and he swerves enough. And this was super high, the road, like it drops off at least 10 feet, like with slopes on the side. So if he turns off, that would be.
That's kind of
big
like the
mess.
Golden Road.
It'd be horrible.
It's kind of like that. It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of mountainy. There's kind of trees off on the
Yeah.
side, and then it's just a dirt road.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible road.
Yeah.
And you have to literally go. The speed limits. There's no speed limit. You
Yeah.
can go as fast as you want, but if you go too fast and coming around the corners of a huge truck, you're screwed.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
So he honks at us, and we don't die. That's the main thing. We didn't die, but it was one of the most terrifying things I've ever experienced. I thought I was going to die. Like, people exaggerate, but I mean, it's very easy to die when there are tens of thousands of pounds moving
metal.
towards you, of metal and wood moving towards you, and you're in this tiny little Honda Element.
Yeah.
And like my legs were just adrenaline rushed into. You can feel it, like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Anyone can, but it was one of those moments, and we went the rest of the way without
Anything.
anything.
But
so
then you
terrifying.
came to a dead end.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that was the camping trip. So, not really anything else happened in
July.
June.
In June.
That was June.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was. Oh well, we had to prepare after we came back from the camping trip. We had to prepare for the 4th of July concert that the Jazz Combo was giving.
And when we say prepare, we mean we're gonna sit down, say what we're going to play, and then talk for the rest of the time.
Yes.
And
Yeah, we got
most of the rehearsals consisted of us getting there, talking for an hour and
Eating
a
ice
half
cream.
to 2 hours, eating ice
eating
cream,
lots of ice cream.
and then going into the practice room
Yeah,
or the blue room,
The blue room, and fooling around the whole time
and yelling at each other.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, we did get stuff done. We did. It did happen. And the reason we were playing here is because earlier in the year, the Jazz Combo, I can't remember when this was, early June, I think.
Yeah.
Jazz Combo played at
late June because we
no,
got
it
out of
couldn't have been
school.
late June.
You mean
because it was
July,
during
right?
School. No, I'm talking about.
Oh, was it during school?
The fundraiser. Yeah. Yeah. It was because we took. Did we take a? No, never mind. So it was early June. The reason we have the 4th of July thing is because in early June we played at a fundraiser at this woman's house. It was
a barn,
fundraiser,
a really nice house,
nice house
art.
For
It was like an art benefit. thing
art organization fundraiser or
for
something.
the Bangor High School and Bangor area.
Yeah,
I
Bangor area in general. Yeah. So we were playing there.
think. And we played very
we played
well.
very well. And the neighbor of this lady, who's a doctor at EMMC,
Who knows my mom?
yeah,
He lived right by. He was the Dr. I'd like to say Dickey. Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of organized the whole 4th of July concert event
at by the waterfront, not on the big stage, but on this smaller one.
and the Stone Doctors played.
Yeah, which he's a part of.
Yeah.
So he heard us, and he comes by, and he asks us for our information, email and
phone number,
and whatnot.
what we play and
yeah,
stuff
and
like
stuff. Yeah. So and a little bit later, I can't remember how much later. Not too much.
that. You get an
a
email.
few weeks later, I get an email saying, "Would you guys, the Jazz Combo, like to play at 4th of July concert? on the 4th of July, obviously, at about 2 o'clock. And we're like, of course. And so we haven't played anything together for about 2 or 3 weeks or so because
It's this year we do have the
we
combo,
we
but
tend to crash practice. Like we don't practice at all.
and then we'll practice
every day for a week
Right.
until before the event, which is what we did this time.
And we just recently had an event, small event that we do every year.
yeah.
This is a new combo.
Because
we lost Ben Clark,
Abby,
Andy, of course.
Andy. Oh,
and,
yes, of course, Andy. Our lead alto. Well, our only
so
alto.
So now I'm playing alto. We got somebody from Handon to play bass.
And we have a trombonist this year.
Freshman.
He's
pretty
good.
good.
Very good.
And,
our trumpet player's younger brother is playing
baritone. Yep.
Saxophone,
and then Tyler.
And then Tyler is playing.
He's a senior, but
he hasn't
played for a while.
But he's quite good for how long it's been since he's played. But so we play 4th of July. We get 15 songs together. We played 15 songs, I believe.
Yeah.
At this 4th of July, or we had 15 prepared, but we took up too much time. So we only played like 12 of them or so, but it was really good.
Yeah, they were running behind anyway.
Yeah, we played really well, so it was a success, I guess. Yeah. And that was our last, right? Yeah, that was oh no, that wasn't the last time we played with each other. I don't believe, because we played at Andy's graduation party. No, that was before then. Never mind. Yeah. That was the last time we played together.
Yeah.
Before everybody
that
left.
was during school. Yeah.
That was the last time. But we'll play with them again. Yeah. Most likely.
Maybe over the summer. Or vacation.
But yeah, so that happened on the 4th of July, and he invited us back for the
even
next
though
year.
we didn't perform very well.
We did well. We definitely did well enough for people to enjoy it. It wasn't our best, but it's hard for a group to play their best because everybody has to play their best.
Right.
For that to happen. But it was really good, and we're gonna do it next year. So, the 4th of July. That's a pretty easy date to remember.
Yeah.
We'll be playing again on the waterfront.
So I think we should wrap this episode up. We're just gonna do another chain episode.
Yeah.
We're just gonna continue talking.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a new episode.
Yeah, which we're gonna start recording after we finish uploading this one in about 5 minutes.
So we're actually going to be playing a segment of one of our songs that we played over the summer for 4th of July, Watermelon Man. We're just going to do a few parts of it. This recording took place in Abby's Blue Room maybe a week before the actual performance. Yeah. And it was recorded on a phone.
And it was a rehearsal of phone. It's not the best quality, but it is our group playing.
So, Watermelon Man, performed by the Bangor Jazz Combo.
Okay, go.